A look into a book with Bala Nagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss. Vanakkam, Vandanam, Namaste, Namaskar, good evening and welcome to a look into a book, an excavation for eternal bliss. You are listening to Radio Udan, a flight of life. Dear listeners, it would be a great remiss if I proceed without thanking you all for the constant feedback and support that you have been showing since day one to a look into a book. Because of your feedbacks, from today onwards, I'm glad to announce that we are going to plunge ourselves into reviewing some other creations apart from motivational books. These are known for all. We have got motivated to the fullest for the past 5 weeks with the help of 5 spectacular books by the splendid authors around the world. Now it's our time to penetrate our soul to find what is next that is in rest. It is our time to excavate a source for our eternal bliss from other criteria, such as crime fictions, thrillers, research work, science fictions, anatomies, religious natures, and many more. We are plunging ourselves into a new dimension via a look into a book. Let's begin the excavation for eternal bliss with Bala Nagendran through a look into a book on radio on a flight of life. Last Tuesday, as soon as finishing my book review, The 1 Minute Manager, I thought, if tomorrow comes, I will change the methodology of review. I thought if tomorrow comes, the world will find a new source for their eternal bliss with the help of a look into a book. The days have passed. Yesterday I thought, if tomorrow comes, I should talk about if tomorrow comes. Today has come. I'm going to talk about If Tomorrow Comes by Sidney Sheldon. Master of unexpectations, master of storyteller, pioneer of crime fictions, founding father of portraying femininity to the world with simple but splendid English, with loyal and royal connotations, with mind-boggling and shattering thriller stories. Sidney Sheldon, born as Sidney Shestrel in Chicago, Illinois, United States on February 11, 1917, turned out to be a musical writer from 1937, and that brought him to Hollywood, California to write a musical titled The Bachelors and the Bobby Soxers that got him the Academy Award for Original Best Screenplay in the year 1947. He worked with musicals. When television turns popularity, he focused himself toward televisions and written serials for 5 years, 7 years, and created a record of being a sole writer who has written all episodes for the 7-year I Dream of Jeannie. At the end of the musicals and the serial I Dream of Jeannie, he thought of putting his thoughts into novel. At the age of 52 in 1969, he began to traverse and make himself to become the master of unexpectations via novels. His first novel, The Naked Face, released and published in the year 1970, earned him the nomination of the Best Mystery Writers Award. The second novel, The Other Side of Midnight, published in the year 1973, brought him the best seller and the #1 writer in New York Times best-selling books. He has written 18 novels, such as If Tomorrow Comes, Windmill of the God, Bloodline, The Rage of Angels, The Stars Shine Down, The Best Laid Plan, Doomsday Conspiracy, Tell Me Your Dream, and many other novels that will keep ourselves at the edge of the seat with no doubt. In flow of excavating Sidney Sheldon's spectacular sources, today we are going to begin our journey with his masterpiece of the master of storytelling, the master of unexpectations, If Tomorrow Comes. As he interviewed in 1982, he said, the reason for which he has chosen women to be the protagonist of most of his creations. Out of 80 novels, 16 were entirely focused on women who are fighting in this tough and hostile world created by men. Now, If Tomorrow Comes, Tracy Whitney, a beautiful mid-20-year-old woman with a slight and a slender face, consensuous and a sensuous mouth, beautiful eyes that can turn into moss greens and dark jade in moments, skin of a gamut that can turn from the translucent white to pink whenever her mood changes, has been made as a protagonist to the fiction. She has been loving to Charles Stanford, one of the richest person in Philadelphia. She is living in Philadelphia and working as a computer operator in a bank. And the book begins, the conversation between Tracy Whitney and her mom, Doris Whitney. Then Doris Whitney committing suicide. Then Tracy Whitney come to know that Joe Romano, the con artist, ruined her mom. He tend to persuade him and caught by the police and sent into the penitentiary. After getting pardoned from the penitentiary, she refused job by the society and the banks that he has worked and that she has worked in. She turned out to be the jewel heister with the help of American jewel heister, and then she met Jeff Stevens. Later on, she turned out to be the world's cleverest criminals, for whom Daniel Cooper, a reclusive sociopath and a plain-speaking man, appointed as a detective. However, he was unable to catch her red-handed and the author's explanation of how Tracy Whitney takes her revenge, solves her vengeance, how she became a clever criminal of the world, and what she says about if tomorrow comes. If tomorrow comes, how she is going to take her vengeance on the enemies is what all about the book. In simple words, we can say this as a usual story that grinds the already grounded groundnuts. But this is Sidney Sheldon's special, his masterpiece. Therefore, we can accept and expect some firework crackers. That's going to make us feel the pain of Tracy Whitney, the sensation of Tracy Whitney. Sheldon's words will surely work in our mind and will make us to sit at the edge of the seat. Let's plunge ourselves and find what if tomorrow comes says. Time goes so slowly. Let's see. You're listening to a look into a book, an excavation for eternal bliss on Radio Run of Light of Life. We are traversing with Sidney Sheldon's masterpiece, If Tomorrow Comes.
Time goes by so slowly. 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 Every little thing that you say or do, I'm hung up on you, waiting
You are listening to Radio Udan, Radio Udan, Radio Udan, a flight of life. For more information, log on to www.radioudan.com. Happy listening.
दिल की कलम से। जी हाँ दोस्तों, दिल की कलम जो चलती है दिल से, एक आवाज जो निकलती है दिल से, एक एहसास जो रहता है दिल में, एक अल्फाज जो बने दिल की ज़ुबान, एक खामोशी जो करे खुद से बातें, एक दस्तक जो रहती है दिल पर, एक खुशी जो होती है आपसे मिलकर। जी हाँ दोस्तों, मैं हूँ आरजे सपना और लेकर आ रही हूँ आपके लिए प्रोग्राम दिल की कलम से। तो आइए और मिलिए मुझसे हर गुरुवार शाम 7 से 8 सिर्फ और सिर्फ रेडियो उड़ान पर।
A look into a book with Bala Nagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss. If Tomorrow Comes by Sidney Sheldon, Book 1, Chapter 1. New Orleans, Thursday, February 20th, 1 o'clock p.m. She undressed herself slowly. When she has become naked, she chosen a bright red negligee to wear so that the blood wouldn't show up. She carefully looked into her bedroom that has grown quite well for the 30 years, and she found that the room is neat and tidy. She slowly opened the drawer beside the bed and taken a gun out of it with caution. The gun was shiningly black and terrifyingly cold. She placed it beside the telephone and dialed her daughter's number. Doris Whitney, listening to an echoing ring sound at the other end. In a moment, she heard a beautiful voice saying, "Hello?" Doris asked, "Tracy, how are you? I felt like hearing you, darling." Tracy Whitney chuckled and said, "Mother, I'm fine. How are you? How is it doing at New Orleans?" Doris Whitney said, "It's raining, darling. It's about to be thunder." Tracy Whitney said, "I heard of it. Mother, whenever you're going out, take an umbrella with you." Tracy don't know that she wouldn't need any umbrella. She wouldn't need to go out after this. Doris said, "How it is going at Philadelphia, darling?" Tracy said, "Mom, I'm feeling like the princess of the fairy tale. I'm going to meet Charles and his family members tomorrow night at the dinner, and I'm feeling butterflies like the size of dinosaurs." Doris replied, "They will love you, darling." Tracy said, "They are Stanford, the Chestnut Hills. They are the Institute." Doris said, "They will love you, darling." They've had a dialogue. Finally, Doris thought, it's time for me to do only one thing clear and clear. She said, "Goodbye, Tracy. Take care of yourself." Tracy replied, "Looking forward to invite you to my wedding, Mother. Hope to meet you soon." Doris, "I would like to say this final thing. I love you very, very much, Tracy." Doris Whitney carefully placed the receiver. Then she said, by hearing the thunder. Its time is up. There is nothing to do much except only one thing. She took the gun and took it closer to her temple and squeezed the trigger. Not knowing all about this, the beautiful woman Tracy Whitney would get up the early morning, February 22nd, and gone to her office. After informed by the New Orleans police that her mother's death, feeling speechless and dumbfounded, stunned because of the death, Tracy come to know that Joe Romano, the right-handed conman of the Anthony Orsadio, ruined her mom and the Whitney company that has been established by the deceased father of Tracy Whitney 5 years ago. After knowing this all, Tracy thought of persuading Joe Romano at the gunpoint and making him to confess the clearance of her mom, Doris Whitney. With a naive step, she has gone to Romano's house, and while sharing a drink, Tracy tried to persuade Romano at the gunpoint. Finding that this woman's status and the naive step that she has taken, Romano pulled the gun out of her hand and forced her back to the wall. The author's description about the incident makes us to feel what's going to happen next. Makes us to sit with stiffness and the grip that grabs our mind cannot be described by any words. Credits to Sidney Sheldon. It goes like this, I quote, Joe Romano ripped her blouse and said, "Hey, look at that tits." He squeezed her and he caressed and hurting. Tracy Whitney couldn't do anything much. She fallen down. Joe Romano said, "You haven't got the excitement from a man, isn't it? Joe is going to give it." While fighting to save herself getting raped at the hands of Joe Romano, Tracy Whitney's hand inadvertently found a gun. There was a sudden squeeze of trigger and a noise. "Oh, Jesus! You shot me! You bitch, you shot me!" Then Tracy, horrified, and ran back to the airport, caught by the police. At the police station, Perry Pope, the assigned lawyer for Tracy Whitney, convinced Tracy to plead guilty so that his well-known friend cum judge, George Lawrence, would grant her just 3 months of prison. Otherwise, if she caused more to the state for trial, she might get 10-year sentence. The innocent Tracy Whitney agreed to it, and in the court she pleaded the guilty. Without knowing that this is a ruining step taken by Joe Romano, who is not dead, and filed a complaint of attempt murder and a robbing of the world's costliest Renoir from his house with Anthony Orsadio, coupled with the participation of George Lawrence, the judge, and even the lawyer Perry Pope. Tracy Whitney has been ruined one more time by all these four men, and George Lawrence pronounced a judiciary judgment, sentencing her for 15 years to Southern Louisiana Penitentiary for Women. Tracy broken. Charles Stanford left her unturned. Charles Stanford betrayed Tracy Whitney and his baby that is growing in the womb of Tracy Whitney. She has taken to the penitentiary, put in the cell with 3 women, Polita, Annalita, and Puerto. At the first night in the cell, she has been sexually assaulted, raped by those women. The explanation of the author about the jail incidents are heart-frightening, will make us to feel the exact thing that has happened in the jail via the words of Sidney Sheldon. It is only possible. If anyone who could make you feel the reality via a fiction, that is Sidney Sheldon. We can find the reality with the help of If Tomorrow Comes. As soon as she has been taken from the prison bus and loaded into the jail, all the inmates have been taken into the white toilet room, where a middle-aged, bloated man named Dr. Glasgow standing and ordered all the women, "Come on, dear women, strip." Without understanding the phrase, Tracy asked, "What?" The doctor smiled and said, "Don't you know what? Strip your clothes off." They have stripped and they were undressed in front of the doctor. Variety of women were standing, age-old, middle-aged, and a young 17-year-old with full of shivering. The author's explanation about the incident goes like this, I quote, "Doctor taken a steel speculum and ordered the first woman who is standing beside Tracy to lay herself on the table and to place the feet of her on the stirrups. Afterwards, the doctor parted the woman's leg and inserted the speculum into her vagina. While probing, the doctor raised, 'Do you have venereal disease?' The woman said no. The doctor said, 'Let's find out later.' And it goes on. The second woman beside Tracy Whitney has been ordered to do the same. The woman laid herself on the table and parted her legs. While the Dr. Glasgow about to insert the speculum into the vagina, Tracy shouted and roared. Doctor turned and asked, 'What?' Tracy said, 'You haven't sterilized the needle.' The doctor sent a cold, slow smile and said, 'Here we have got a new gynecologist in the house. Madam, are you worried of germs? Go down the line.' 'What?' Tracy whispered. 'Don't you know? Go back.' Then Tracy accepted and had gone back and stood at last. Then the doctor did the same. Then only Tracy come to realize that she was talking about germs, and now she is going to examine all those germs of 50 women in the same time. And she is going to be the last woman on whom the same speculum that has been inserted into the vagina of other women are going to be inserted. Feeling angry, Tracy has happened to do the same. The doctor parted her legs and without information penetrated the speculum and probing, deliberately hurting Tracy. And he asked, 'Do you have venereal disease?' Tracy said no. Tracy not thought of informing about her baby that is there in the womb so that she could save. Afterwards, the doctor said, and by wearing the rubber gloves in his two hands, 'Come on girls, now bend.' Without knowing, every woman asked, 'What?' 'I know what your places are holding.' I've taken more marijuana and heroin from those places. Bend now, commanded the doctor. He plunged his gloved hand into the anus of all the prisoners. Tracy felt vomiting, and the doctors commanded, "If you vomit, I will rub your face in it." Then she has been taken into the penitentiary, where in that first night she has been sexually assaulted by the women inmates, and because of that she lost her baby. More frightening and exciting informations are waiting about If Tomorrow Comes of Sidney Sheldon. Let's come back after hearing a boosting song. We have heard a frightening incident of Tracy Whitney, and we are going to witness some exciting actions of her. Therefore, the song is going to provide, and it's going to depict what is about to come. Let's hear the Wango Boys. You are listening to A Look into a Book, an excavation for eternal bliss on Radio Run, a Flight of Life.
Just like mine, you feel like crying. Sing along, maybe once, maybe twice. Let's try it together. Some sweet day, no one knows you'll return, and you'll be happy. Shout it sweet in a song. Listen to your heart, it is singing. My heart goes sha la 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 la, sha la la in the morning, sha la 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 la, sha la la in the sunshine, sha la 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 la, sha la la in the evening, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, just for you. My heart goes
आप सुन रहे हैं रेडियो उड़ान, द फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ, वर्ल्ड्स नंबर 1 इंटरनेट रेडियो स्टेशन ऑफ इट्स ओन काइंड। सुनते रहिए और एंजॉय कीजिए रेडियो उड़ान।
रेडियो उड़ान की नई पेशकश, एक मुलाकात। जी हाँ दोस्तों, तो रहिएगा ना बेखबर, क्योंकि इस प्रोग्राम में मैं अमित भट्ट रहूंगा आपका होस्ट, रहूंगा आपका हमसफर, और हमसे रूबरू होगी एक नई पर्सनैलिटी, एक नई शख्सियत हमारे हर एक प्रोग्राम में। हर शुक्रवार रात 9 से 10 एक मुलाकात, सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपके अपने रेडियो उड़ान पर।
A look into a book with Bala Nagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss. Days have gone. At the early morning, when she is raped by her women inmates, one of the wardens have found Tracy laying on the floor beside a puddle of blood. She found herself, Tracy, violating the rules and put herself into the bin. Simply a solitary, concentrated cell. There Tracy felt that if tomorrow comes, I need to take my vengeance back on these 4 men, Joe Romano, Antonio Sario, Perry Pope, and George Lawrence. She has included Charles Stanford, who said, I quote, "If you are in need of money, you could have discussed it with me. You consider that I didn't know you before. You do anything with your baby that's not mine." Tracy felt that Charles should also be included. She has begun to realize that she needs to strengthen herself physically. Days are gone, dark cell has hidden the difference between day and night. She has begun to work out the martial art that she has learned, Tai Chi Chuan. She has begun to say, roll your hands like a cloud, catch the tail of the bird, become the white stalker, repulse the monkey, face the tiger, grab the snake, ride the tiger, shoot the tiger, and come back to the center of Tai Tian. She has recollected these verses taught to her by her coach at exercise, returned from the Bing after 7 days. With the help of one of our inmates, Polito, she has got one visiting card of one jewel heister. She didn't thought of going back to him. In few days she has made a plan to escape from the penitentiary. But time helped her to save the kid of the jail's warden, and she has been pardoned from 16 years sentence to just 6 months. After getting out of the jail, she went on to seek job. While finding a job, she is appointed as a servant to a hotel where she has been subjected to harassments due to the unwanted imprisonment that she has faced. After realizing the society, she has come back and approached the American jewel heister fence. With the help of him, she has ruined Joe Romano, Anthony Osario and his empire in Philadelphia and New Orleans, and also she has made Judge George Lawrence to be arrested in the case of espionage in Russia. The author's tactics in taking all of us into the issues with thriller and ostentation is mind-boggling. Then she joined with the Spence and she began looting the jewelries. The way she outwitted the policeman by making her face packed with mud, with the help of a dog, the way she has outwitted the owners of the jewelry, the way she has robbed the jewelry, where Arthur showed his class and charisma. She has met in train two detectives who found herself guilty of robbing a jewelry and taken the luggage and the jewelry box with them. Found herself being caught up again at the hands of violence, of brutality, of jail. Tracy was speechless. She was about to die. But in another station, with the help of ticket examiner, she come to know that they were not policemen or intelligence. She has ran to the airport where she has found those two men. That was the induction and the introduction of Jeff Stevens, who soon will be one of the co-partner of Tracy Whitney's clever criminalizing jewelry heisting. With the help of her intelligence, she has used policeman himself to take back those jewelry boxes from Jeff Stevens, and she has run away with those stolen jewelry in front of the police. From then on, her robbing and jewelry heisting has begun. She started earning money. With the help of it, she started getting rich. Then she has been traveling all over Europe, United States, and stealing costly products and earning money for that. The way author describes Tracy's affiliates, accolades, and the abilities, as well as the way he has described the detective Daniel Cooper and his followed up actions to catch Tracy Whitney red-handed, were more than beautiful. If Tomorrow Comes will surely make us to feel that we are not in the real world, we are traveling with Tracy Whitney wherever she is going. Then she has traveled from US to England to meet Hunter Gurdoch, a jeweler, heister and a con artist, with a good principle that he will steal jewelries and the costly goods only from those who deserve to be stolen. While traveling via ship, Jeff Stevens made a plan and plot to ruin Tracy again. With the help of two chess champions, he challenged Tracy Whitney to play with them simultaneously, and if she drew with them, she will get 10 million. Tracy, with her astounding intellectuality and ability to logically think, the way of analyzing tricks, her adventurous attitude made her to win with both of them. The chess sequence in this novel requires special mentioning. Therefore, to the curiosity of the listeners and the readers, we are leaving the illustration. It goes on, she went on to steal a costly painting from a jam-packed museum. Then she went on to resell the gem emerald from the person she has stolen, and the way she has robbed the jewelry from the actress at the Orient Express train in front of policemen. Everything will make us to travel with Tracy, with our heart in our mouth. We will feel a bile rising up towards our throat because of Tracy Whitney's majestic and adventurous tricks and her scintillating skill of outwitting men and the police. In the meantime, Sidney Sheldon, not only known for crime fiction, thriller, and cat and mouse game, violence, etc., he is also known for good romance. He is a good romantic writer, a fabulous portrayer of love, making love, a fantastic artist in expressing the act of love with his own unique words. The diction itself will make us feel the essence of love and making love. Great example to that is the encounter between Jeff and Tracy Whitney. Before explaining Sheldon's astonishing love-making portrayal, it is necessary to talk about a theft that Tracy will do on a flying aeroplane. She will be locked inside the cargo container and she will be aborted into the aeroplane, said Jeff Stevens. She has been aborted. She felt dazed, dozed, and body started feeling the heat, started degrading, started losing oxygen, started feeling the necessity of taking a breath. However, she has stolen a diamond in that flying aeroplane. She has been taken back safely to another house where she was about to die because of dazed degradation. Jeff Stevens took care of her. He nurtured her with half-boiled omelets, orange juice, chocolates, and many other caring and cosseting activities that created a sense of emotion flowing against each other, that put both of them into the shelves of love. One night, they both, because of their growth of love, started feeling themselves holding on to each other. The author goes like this, I quote, "In a moment, Jeff was at her bedside. Tracy, shh, don't talk. Just put your arms around me. Hold me." It started slowly, velvet touching and stroking and feeling, a caressing and gentle exploring of the senses. It began to build and swell in a frenzied and frantic rhythm until it became a bacchanal orgy of pleasure. Wild and savage, his hard organ stroked her and pounded her and filled her until she wanted to scream with unbearable joy. She was at the center of a rainbow, felt herself being swept up on a higher tidal wave that lifted her up higher and higher until there was a sudden molten explosion within her. Then her whole body began to shudder. Gradually the tempests subsided. Then she felt Jeff's lips moving down her body, down and down to the center of her being. She was caught in another fierce wave of blissful sensation. She pulled Jeff to her, held him close, feeling his heart beat against hers. She strained against him, but still could not get close enough. She crept to the foot of the bed and felt himself. Then touched her lips to his body with soft and tender kisses, moving upward until she found his hard maleness in her hand. She stroked it gently and softly and slid it into her mouth and listened to his moans of pleasure. Then Jeff was on top of her and was inside her. It has begun again, more exciting than before. A fountain spilling over with unbearable pleasure. Afterwards, Jeff and Tracy planned to live like a cleared citizens in Brazil. But before that, they have screwed the Holland Amsterdam police and stolen the diamond from the museum publicly. Then Tracy sent the diamond in front of the police with the help of a homey pigeon that could fly from Holland to London. Daniel Cooper couldn't caught Tracy with red-handed. And finally, what Tracy did Tracy and Jeff live together? Or if tomorrow comes, will Tracy and Jeff be the same con artists? The author leaves these sort of questions by concluding his masterpiece. Dear friends, after 5 days of reviewing motivational books, we have chosen to review one of the best-selling creations of the world-famous master of unexpectations, Mr. Blockbuster, the Prince of Potboilers, Sidney Sheldon. This is a new task that we have taken in our hand you, the experienced listeners and readers, know how tough it is to review the entire novel in 1 hour. So feedback me. Your suggestions will surely help me to improve myself in coming weeks to review the astounding novels of the world with utmost clarity and clearance. Therefore, feedback me by logging on to www.radioudan.com, RADIOUDAN.com, where you will get a link for submit feedback. Fill up the feedback whatever you want, whether you liked it or not, whether you want to woo or boo, whether you want to appreciate or depreciate. Everything is a source to me. Feedback me. Don't forget to say in what ways we can improve a look into a book. I'll meet you all next week with another astounding creation of another world-famous writer. Till then, keep listening Radio on a flight of life. This is Bala Nagendran signing off from A Look into a Book, an excavation for eternal bliss. Before leaving, I would like to dedicate this song in the remembrance of the great Sidney Sheldon and his imaginative character, the beautiful, majestic Tracy Whitney, and to all the lonely hearts out there. Good night, Ande Sivam, buenas noches. A look into a book with Bala Nagendran, an excavation for eternal bliss.